It's the 6th of January 2021. Hello and welcome to Joy News at 6 with me, Bernice Abubeidu-Lansa. The news is live on Joy 99.7 FM and hits 103.9 FM in Accra, also on Love 99.5 FM in Kumasi, affiliates across Ghana and worldwide at myjoyonline.com. Coming up, fierce contest between Speaker of Parliament Professor Aaron Mike Oquaye and his second Deputy Alban Bagbin as NDC and NPP lock horns over whose candidate becomes Speaker of the next Parliament. Also coming up.
You don't think about it.
Stop relying on free SHS, focus on other parts of the economy. That's reaction from some artisans at the Obuso Spare Parts Enclave to President Akufo-Addo's State of the Nation address. We've got details as the public gives mixed reactions to the address.
In business, World Bank revises Ghana's growth rate, cutting it to a staggering 1.4% for this year. More on the Joy Business Report later.
And the NDC serves notice it will initiate investigations into how money allocated to fight the coronavirus pandemic was spent, as it accuses the president of using the money for the elections.
They were dishing it around and sharing it around men and women across the country to get vote.
Thanks for making time to be with us. We are your home of independent, fearless and credible journalism. Details in a moment. Thanks for your company. The details now. The battle lines are firmly in place as current Speaker of Parliament, Professor Aaron Mike Oquaye, and his second Deputy Alban Bagbin lock horns in a rare race for the Speakership position of the 8th Parliament, which begins at the dawn of 7th January. Now, there are 137 MPs elect on the NPP and NDC sides, with one independent candidate who will make a lot of difference. Both men are accomplished politicians and are sure of their ability to be next speaker in the next parliament. Parliamentary correspondent Joseph Opoku-Gakpo will join us shortly for an update on the lobbying that's already started in the House. First, though, a report from the NDC's Functional Executive Committee meeting, which settled on Alban Bagbin and affirmed the current leadership of Parliament. Parker Wilson reports.
Professor Mike Oquaye and outgoing MP for Nadole Kali, Alban Bagbin, will be slugging it for the position of Speaker for the 8th Parliament. The NDC, at a Functional Executive Committee meeting, approved the nomination of Mr. Bagbin as the Speaker, in spite of threats by the governing NPP that its side of the House will take both Deputy Speaker slots if the NDC challenges it. The two nominees will be subjected to a secret vote in the House. The party also maintained its current leadership in Parliament. This means Haruna Idrisu will be the leader of the NDC in the 8th Parliament and will be deputized by MP for Ketu North, James Klucha-Veji. The NDC chief whip position will be maintained by MP for Sawase, Mohammed Muntaka Mubarak, and will be deputized by Ibrahim Ahmed and Comfort Doyo Kujo as first and second deputy whips, respectively.
So that was Chrissy Parker Wilson's report, read to you by Joseph Opoku-Gakpo. And Joseph Opoku-Gakpo, who is our parliamentary correspondent, joins us now for more on this. Joseph, it's not the usual way of selecting our speakers, but with two candidates now up for this contest, how are they pushing for votes from the MP select?
Clearly, a lot of the voting would happen on party lines as far as the NDC and the NPP are concerned. But we also know that there's been overtures from both sides to the former MP in particular, Andrew Amokwesiama, who has indicated that he will be voting in the direction of the NPP. But even beyond that, both parties, particularly the NDC and the NPP, are lobbying and campaigning and urging even their colleagues on the other side to vote for their candidates, whether it's Alban Bagbin or Professor Mike Oquaye.
There's still controversy over who becomes majority or minority. Has that been settled?
Not very much so. The majority leader, Seiki Mensah-Bonsu, insists that there is nothing like a hung parliament, and by virtue of the fact that the former MP is deciding to vote with them, they are confident that they would eventually constitute the majority, although the NDC is also insisting nothing of that sort exists, and they also have the same figures as the NPP.
Finally and briefly, Joseph, tell us what to expect today on the last day of the 7th Parliament.
From 10 a.m., the 7th Parliament will be sitting. They will approve, among others, the end of service benefits for the executive arm of government, after which we expect closing addresses from the Speaker, the majority and minority leaders.
Well, Joseph, we understand that the minority and majority leaders will be holding a press conference before the House begins sitting.
That's around 8:30 a.m. this morning, when they are supposed to be doing a review of how things have panned out in the 7th Parliament over the last 4 years, and then give a preview as far as the 8th Parliament, which is beginning on the dawn of 7th January, is concerned.
That's our parliamentary correspondent, Joseph Opoku-Gakpo. Do stay with us here on television, on radio and online as we bring you events as they unfold on the last day of the 7th Parliament. Now, some Ghanaians have been reacting to President Akufo-Addo's State of the Nation address to Parliament on Tuesday. Now, the reactions are mixed among businessmen at the Obosokai Spare Parts Dealership Enclave in Accra. Well, some of them commend the President's efforts in his first term, but others think the NPP government must move beyond the free SHS policy to invest in other sectors of the economy. My colleague Manuel Cranting was at the enclave, watched the address with some of the businessmen and reports.
There's any spot within the capital where the conversation is rife about the president's State of the Nation address, that's really got to be here. In fact, really varied opinions about what the president has been saying about the state of the economy and it being on the path to recovery. And some of the other interventions, which of course the NPP government has been rolling out in the past 4 years. And then I'll walk into the yard a bit.
Things are not going well. As due to the conversation, we don't know how things are going well. So we are trying our best and see whether if it's good, then normal.
His efforts need to be expanded. We know he has implemented free SHS, but there is more to be done. In his next term, he should do exactly that.
What
real thing has he done? There aren't any jobs. Even after completing schools, there are no jobs to be done. After free SHS, what has he done? Nothing.
After free SHS, nothing.
Another mamono, Koye, because I'm within 4 years.
His first term really went well because more jobs were created. I only wish there could be more consultations before government policies are drawn and implemented. They shouldn't keep us in the dark.
That's Manuel Cranting with that report. The NDC minority in Parliament has served notice it will initiate investigations into how money allocated to fight the coronavirus pandemic was spent. Now, the minority says it will table a private member's motion to probe the spending. Minority Leader Aaron Idrisu has accused President Akufo-Addo and his government of using the COVID money to buy votes in the last elections.
Every president gets it easy on the second term, but for him, what happened? With all the COVID money spent, we'll be investigating COVID and the money they spend on election instead of spending it on COVID to protect life, on public health. They didn't spend the COVID money on public health. They were dishing it around and sharing it around men and women across the country to get vote. And the media, you must be interested in one of the most dangerous things Nana Addo has done to our democracy is the huge dosage of money he used in this election. Going forward, that will undermine the integrity of any democratic process, any competitive democratic process. It has never, ever happened. Even at polling stations, people sharing money and putting money in masks.
Aaron Idrisu is the minority leader in Parliament. We are yet to receive a response to this from government. Now, road accidents in the year 2020 shot up by 11%. That's according to the National Road Safety Authority. The year began with a major accident which resulted in the deaths of dozens of people. There's more in the following report.
National Road Safety Authority, the government body tasked to work for safety on our roads, wants to change the trend. Statistics from the authority indicates that 23 people died in road accidents between 24th to 26th December 2020, as against 32 deaths from the same period in 2019. Director of Planning and Programs at the authority, David Osafo-Adontain, talks about what they are doing to change the narrative.
Over the past number of years, we are still not at where we want to be, but we will be there one day. We were handicapped in terms of numbers talking about the human resource capacity. But government being so good, this year we have been able to improve the numbers. We used to be less than 60. Now we are